Madam Vice President, President of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Pro Tempore, honorable members of the legislature, Your Honor, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court and members of the Judiciary, the Dean and members of the Cabinet, and other government officials, the joint labor and trade union, civil society organizations, members of the press, special guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow viewers. In fulfillment of my official duty under the mandate of the Article 58 of the Constitution of Liberia, I'm here again to present the administration legislative program for the ensuing 4th sessions of this honorable legislature and to report to you on the state of Liberia. I'm further mandated to present the overall economic conditions of the nation, which should cover both expenditure and income. I want to congratulate all new senators and representatives who were elected to this august body from the senatorial and by-elections held on December 8, 2020. Congratulations. Some of you have retained your seats, while others are new to the Capitol building. I want to urge each of you to diligently perform the tasks for which our people have elected you. I pledge my commitment to working with all of you so that together with our collective efforts, we will serve the Liberian people well. Welcome back for your annual recess as we begin the 4th sessions of constructive dialogue and deliberation in the supreme interest of the Liberian people. I look forward to working with you in a spirit of collaborations and cooperation that we have always enjoyed. However, before I proceed further, I would like to offer my sincere condolences to you for the sad and timely passing of 2 of your members during the recent ended 10th session, namely Honorable Muna Ipelam of District 9, Mosquito County, and Honorable J. Namuslo of District 2, Sano County. May their soul rest in perfect peace. Mr. Speaker, I would like to applaud this honorable body for the collaboration that we enjoyed during our 10th session, which culminated in the passage of 26 pieces of legislation, 25 of which was signed by me in support of the Pro Agenda for Prosperity and Development. Thank you also for your ratification of several financing agreements which seek to revitalize our economy and create jobs for our people. while at the same time strengthening our relations with our multilateral partners. Our administration also issued 6 executive orders to address national concern during the period under review. In the interest of time, a listing of these new acts, agreement, and executive order is attached as an appendix to this annual message. Mr. Speaker, we want to remind you that there are bills pending before you that are important to the developmental agenda of the government. As you begin this full session of the 54th legislature, we urge you to kindly consider the timeless passage. The Whistleblower and Witness Protection Bill, the Anti-Money Laundering, Terrorist Financing, Preventive Measures, and Proceeds of Crime Act 2019. The revised Public Health Law of Liberia, the Conventions of Mutual Administrative Assistance in Tax Matters, an act to establish the Liberia Standard Authority, an act to establish the Civil Service Commission, the revised and restated charter of the University of Liberia, the International Solar Alliance Framework Agreement, the Maritime Zones Act 2020, and an act to endorse the National Youth Policy of Liberia and Agenda for Action. Honorable members of the 54th legislature, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in an effort to upgrade the National Anti-Corruption Framework, broad consultations are ongoing with stakeholders such as the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Auditing Commission, the Ministry of Justice, and the Judiciary Branch of Government. I will therefore be submitting bills to amend certain restrictive judiciary laws, as we have realized that there are processes which not only require the actions of the legislative branch, but also require the cooperation agreement of the judiciary branch, meaning the Supreme Court of Liberia. To adequately address corruption cases, laws providing for the terms of courts may have been amended to allow for extended terms and for the grand jury to be seated for the full terms of court. I will also submit a bill to amend the Domestic Violence Act and other laws to provide enhanced protection for victims of sexual and gender-based violence. Additionally, the bill will be submitted to you to empower young people in an effort to improve their skills through a TVET program. I will also forward for your urgent attention and subsequent ratification the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which was signed in Kigali, Rwanda in March of 2018. This agreement is a milestone achievement for Africa in terms of the promotion of trade among citizens of African Union. Madam Vice President and President of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President pro tempore, and members of the 54th Legislature, I am mandated by the Constitution to report to your august body on the state of the Liberian economy, which shall cover expenditure as well as income. Accordingly, total revenue for the calendar year under review was $653.9 million US. This amount comprises $475.5 million US in domestic revenue and $178.4 million US in external resources from our development partners. Total expenditure for the same period amount to $606 million United States dollars. In the period under review, the National Legislature recast the 2019 and 2020 national budget twice. First, to address perceived revenue challenges, and secondly, to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. The first recast took the national budget from $525.9 million US to $505 million US. The COVID recast subsequently increased the national budget to $518 million United States dollars. The government spent the amount of $518 million US for the fiscal year 2019 and 2020, and carried forward the cash amount of $7 million US for enactment in the 2020-21 national budget, which the national legislature subsequently passed at an amount of $570 million United States dollars. The United States Agency for International Development, the USAID, and the government of Liberia signed a development objective grant agreement of $640 million United States dollars that will be programmed to support various projects that the government of Liberia and USAID will agree on as priority areas of needs over the next 5 years. These resources are supporting key sectors and will be critical to sustain growth going forward. Also, during the period under review, a total amount of $399 million were announced and committed to various projects as official development assistance to the government and people of Liberia. Additionally, the amount of $178.6 million was received as total budget support, which came from both traditional and non-traditional partners, including the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the European Union, the African Development Bank, and the United States government through the United States Agencies for International Development. Honorable members of the 54th Legislature, a major feature of the year under review was a support program which was approved by the International Monetary Fund in December 2019. The Memorandum of Economic and Financial Policy was signed with the IMF to address various issues of our macro economy. The program aimed to transform fiscal and monetary policies and improve public sector governance. The first and second review of the program have now been concluded, and results show that our macroeconomic stability is being restored under the program. In approving a recent disbursement of $48.8 million US to the government of Liberia under the IMF-supported program, the executive directors of the IMF praised the government of Liberia for the effective measures that have been undertaken so far to transform fiscal and monetary policy and restore macroeconomic stability. In their comments, the IMF executive directors noted, and I quote, "The Liberian authorities are committed to fiscal discipline and further improvement in cash management, transparency, and accountability in spending, and domestic revenue mobilization to finance their development agenda. The monetary policy stance is appropriately aligned with the inflation objective, and significant progress has been made in strengthening central bank independence." Mr. Speaker, this year honor review has also shown our commitment to continue to improve governance and our determination to fight against corruption. In September of 2020, integrity institutions convened an anti-corruption conference which deliberated and presented a clear anti-corruption roadmap. The roadmap recommends that the government amends the Act of 2008 creating Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission to give the LACC top-rate prosecutorial powers and the mandate to administer the asset declaration regime across the 3 branches of government. Within this amendment, the LCC will no longer need to await the Ministry of Justice to take cases under investigation to court. The amendment relating to the asset declaration regime will also give LCC the authority to ensure compliance. The roadmap further recommends amending the judiciary law to create a dedicated corruption and related financial offences code to be known as Criminal Code F. Finally, the roadmap stresses the importance of passing both the whistleblower and the Witness Protection Act. Mr. Speaker, these are the key recommendations that came out of the stakeholder consultation on the fight against corruption. I appeal to the Honorable National Legislature to endorse these recommendations and act swiftly. These actions and legislation will advance the institutional fight against corruption to which our administration remains fully committed. Honorable members of the 54th Legislature, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Liberia's total stock of public debt at the end of 2020 amounts to $1.580 billion US. Of this amount, domestic debt amounts to $643.39 million, while external debts amount to $940.93 million. At end December 2019, the total stock of public debt stood at $1.28 billion, of which domestic debt amounted to $419.8 million United States, while external debt amounted to $862.87 million United States dollars. This increase in domestic debt stock is mainly because of the restructuring and consolidations of the government's debts to the Central Bank of Liberia. It includes $170.63 million United States dollars that was contracted by the previous administration but never included in official debt statistics. This irregularity has now been corrected. The repayment on our domestic debt stock has been structured under the current IMF-supported economic program. The government is now working to validate the stock of other domestic debt. While this work is ongoing, payments on domestic debt have commenced as a means of stimulating the economy. The government remains committed to servicing domestic debt as a clear strategy towards stimulating growth. Mr. Speaker, in the wake of low public confidence in the Central Bank of Liberia, and by extension, the banking system, the Board of Governors, the management of the bank were reconstituted by me during the year under review. Additionally, the amended and restated CBA Act of 1999, which was passed by the National Legislature in October 2020, has strengthened the operational independence of the bank and improved transparency and accountability in its operation. Honorable members of the 54th Legislature, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the year 2020 was challenging for the Liberian economy. Real GDP growth projections were further revised downward to negative 3.93% for 2020, from the earlier projection of negative 2.5%, reflecting a decline in economic activity, largely due to prolonged lockdowns at home, restrictions on international travels, disruptions in supply chains and international trade, and the second wave of the pandemic now seen in several countries, including Liberia's major trading partners. Although the impact of the pandemic on the mining and manufacturing sector was limited, the service sector, especially the hospitality subsector, was severely hit due to the lack of international travelers. This year, the economy is projected to grow by 3.2% on account of expected growth in all major sectors of the economy, as well as favorable global developments. But recovery of the economy will depend on the persistence of otherwise of COVID-19. However, recent news about productions of vaccine for the prevention and treatment of the epidemic is a positive development which will fast-track global post-COVID recovery. Mr. Speaker, during the course of the year, the policy of my government was significantly focused on protecting the purchasing power of our low-income population by aggressively fighting inflation, which reduced from about 30% at the end of December 2019 to about 12% at the end of December 2020. We continue to work aggressively on the goal of price stability so that our people will feel the benefits of macroeconomic reforms. In the last quarter of 2020, developments in the foreign exchange market were relatively favorable as the Liberian dollar recorded persistent appreciation compared to other countries in the ECOWAS region, whose currency wildly depreciated. Despite the printing and delivering of $4 billion Liberian dollars in July 2020, the economy was challenged by difficulty to access Liberian dollars in the financial sector, largely reflecting about 40% rate of mutilations of the existing Liberian dollars banknotes in circulation. In addition, the liquidity pressure on the Liberian dollar was aggravated by increasing demand for the local currency, induced by many players in the economy, such as mobile money agents, large numbers of ATM card holders, and foreign exchange bureaus. In view of this situation, the Central Bank of Liberia has informed me that it is seeking authority from the National Legislature to print a new family of banknotes, as it is the responsibility of this august body to grant such approval under the advice of the Central Bank. Mr. Speaker, members of the 54th Legislature, I respectfully call upon you, honorable ladies and gentlemen, to act swiftly to resolve the situation before the next season of high demand for cash. In the face of this liquidity situation, and while we endeavor to encourage our citizens to sustain their wider use of mobile money for transactions, the executive will intensify consultation with the national legislature to pursue currency reform with the aim of promoting monetary policy credibility and enhancing confidence in the economy. In the current environment in which the CBL does not have control over the more than 90% of Liberian dollars which are outside the banking sector, the effectiveness of monetary policy is undermined. Our goal is to reset the foundation of monetary policy. Given the importance of the central bank to our economy, we will further employ the national legislature to help to strengthen its institutional independence in line with the international accepted norms. Madam Vice President and President of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President pro tempore, and members of the 54th Legislature, the most significant factor that negatively impacted the Liberian economy during the year under review was the coronavirus pandemic, which has afflicted tens of millions of people in our nation. Liberia has not been spared. The impact of this global pandemic, which started in late 2019 and spread across the world in 2020. Liberia recorded its first case in March 2020, and as of today, we have confirmed 1,927 total cases with 1,722 recoveries and 109 active cases. We have recorded 84 deaths. We have also recorded 84 deaths, with only 13 deaths occurring in treatment facilities. In honor of the memory of those who have fallen to the pandemic in our country and of the millions who have perished around the world, it is only fitting that I propose a moment of silence. Thank you. May their soul rest in perfect peace, and the light perpetual shine upon their souls. Honorable members of the 54th Legislature, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the three branches of government have coordinated quite well to deliver a strong national response to COVID-19. It can be recalled that I established a special presidential committee on the COVID-19, the SPACO, which brought together the Ministry of Health, the National Public Health Institution, and the other development partners and stakeholders to drive the fight against COVID-19. Prior to its first case of coronavirus, Liberia was probably the first country in Africa to begin to quarantine travelers from COVID-19 infected countries. The Health Authority also launched massive testing and contact tracing programs that have proven quite successful. To date, Liberia has 1,636 infections, and more than 1,360 persons have recovered from COVID-19, with 13 persons dying in the treatment facility. These numbers represent one of the best COVID-19 responses in the world. Thanks to the proactive leadership of national government working together with development partners and other stakeholders, Liberia's leadership in containing the COVID-19 virus has been globally recognized. For example, the former head of the United States Center for Disease Control has recognized Liberia as best at learning from recent epidemics. He wrote recently in the Wall Street Journal, and I quote, Liberia, hard hit by the Ebola pandemic in 2014, was one of the first countries to start screening for COVID-19 at airports and to adapt other control measures such as rapid testing, complete contact tracing, and quarantine. This recognition and praise is reserved for the thousands of medical practitioners, doctors, physician assistants, nurses, midwives, and all other categories of healthcare workers from all over Liberia. We owe them an internal debt of gratitude that we will never be able to repay. They are our heroes and heroines, and we say thanks to them from a grateful nation. Honorable members of the 54th Legislature, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have held together as a country throughout the pandemic, and with the support from our development partners, we have mounted an effective response. Let me use this opportunity to thank all of our development partners for their strong COVID-19 support to the government and people of Liberia through both direct budgetary support and indirect support. The international community has rallied to Liberia's defense and continue to be a reliable ally in our struggle to protect our citizens from this deadly disease. From the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to our partners. In the period review, honor review, the government received direct COVID-19 budget support of $87 million US from the International Monetary Fund, $14 million US from the African Development Bank, and $10.8 million from the European Union. These budget support resources were received over the previous and the current fiscal year and were intended as general budget support to help sustain government revenue. To date, the total money directly spent on the national COVID-19 responses under control of the Ministry of Health and the National Public Health Institution is $6 million US, which was transferred by the government of Liberia through the national response. The General Auditing Commission is currently auditing this expenditure. Besides the direct spending by the government, a little more than $20 million has been contributed indirectly by development partners to the national COVID-19 response. Of this amount, the World Bank has contributed $17 million and the World Health Organization and the United States Center for Disease Control have contributed $3 million. The General Auditing Commission is also auditing this indirect expenditure also as part of the total national COVID response effort. These resources are going to support a 23-bed National Infectious Disease Center with an additional 74 bedrooms quarantine facility located at the free zone on Bushra Island. Additionally, the government was able to procure 15 ambulances, one for each county, 1,200 hospitals and ICU beds and monitors, 120 motorcycles, 20 ventilators, and other consumables, and also constructed an IV fluid and oxygen plant. These resources are also supported compensation for health workers. We also thank the many private institutions and commercial banks who have provided financial support. As a country, we will forever remain grateful. Honorable members of the 54th legislature, the government developed its legislative program that provided some relief for our people and kept the government running under these very difficult circumstances. During the year under review and in response to COVID-19, the National Legislature approved in April 2020 a state of emergency and provided stimulus support as part of the national budget. As an amount of $25 million were approved for food distribution to provide food relief to Liberians throughout the country. The World Food Program was selected to implement this food distribution program, and the $25 million was transferred to them. To date, according to the WFP, more than 40% of the food has been distributed to 10 counties, benefiting about 1 million Liberians. 5 counties, Sano, Rivergy, Lofa, Grand Cru, and Bapolu, are yet to receive their respective supply. We're waiting. The government has signed a no-cost extension with the WFP to complete the food distribution by end of March 2021. The government also provided support to the Liberia Electricity Corporation and the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation for household electricity and water relief. Nearly $1 million was provided to the Liberian Electricity Corporation to fund COVID-19 electricity subsidies, which benefited nearly 38,000 households across Mosorado, Magibi, Nimba, Maryland, Grand Juliet counties. This means that around 188,000 Liberians benefited from the government-funded electricity program. The government also provided $1.5 million to the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation to fund water subsidies for almost 5 months, benefiting nearly 10,000 households from a targeted network base of 12,000 households. This means that 83% of the targeted base, or almost 50,000 Liberians, benefited in Mosorado County, Grand Bassa, and Magibi counties. The legislature also provided the amount of $2 million for market women and petty traders support. This amount has been placed in escrow at the Central Bank of Liberia. The government is also working with the United States government through the United States Agency for International Development to deliver $10 million under a COVID-19 cash transfer program to about 85,000 petty traders, market women, and other vulnerable Liberians trading in the informal economy. The government has agreed to underwrite the cost of providing biometric identification cards to these 85,000 Liberians. The distribution of the government $2 million will greatly benefit from enrollment under the USAID supported program, since it may avoid duplication of payments to the same individuals. The government of Liberia has also extended COVID-19 related relief to healthcare workers and private school teachers. The amount of $2 million was budgeted and has been paid to healthcare workers as part of the hazard pay. Government has also provided $1 million to the Ministry of Education for private schools teachers throughout Liberia. This payment is through a digital platform and is presently ongoing. We thank all our development partners for their strong support for Liberia and wish to inform this honorable legislature that we continue to work with all our partners to ensure that these resources deliver ever stronger results. The expenditure of these resources is aligned with the government proposed agenda for prosperity and development, will be critical in supporting growth and transformation across key sectors of our country. Mr. Speaker, although 2020 was a difficult year, the COVID-19 challenge did not prevent the government from working for its people. Though the proposed agenda for prosperity and development has been impacted by both recent macroeconomic shock as well as by COVID-19, the work on the PAPD continues. Government has developed a recovery plan, and some aspects of this plan are emotional. The key focus is to continue infrastructure development and continue policy reforms in sectors such as tourism and agriculture. In agriculture, the goal is to empower smallholder farmers with resources, inputs, and markets. In infrastructure such as roads and electricity, the goal is to continue delivering on major projects. These developments and investments will sustain the positive growth outlook for 2021 and for the medium term. We will continue our reforms in 2021 and push to achieve growth and grow jobs across key sectors of our economy. And so, Mr. Speaker, although the state of our economy is challenged, the fundamental remains sound and strong. The soundness and strength is based on the very hard work we have delivered over the past 18 months. Madam Vice President and President of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Pro Tempore, and members of the 54th Legislature, now that I have discharged my statutory duty under Article 58 of our Constitution, I would like to speak directly to you, my fellow Liberians. My fellow Liberians, just 3 days ago, January 22nd, 2020, was the 10th anniversary of my inauguration as President of Liberia for a 6-year term. This is therefore the midterm of my term, and it is the time that we review our progress and achievement made thus far, and recalibrate where necessary to ensure that we achieve the goals of our National Development Plan, the 4-goal agenda of prosperity and development, which is based on the platform upon which you elected me to this high office. First of all, let me reaffirm that road connectivity continues to be the flagship of my programs. Which is intended to serve as a major catalyst for national development. It is important that all of the 15 counties in Liberia should be interconnected among roads. This entails the construction of approximately 500 kilometers of paved primary roads, as well as the maintenance of approximately 4,000 kilometers of urban and secondary roads. In this regard, considerable progress has been made, in spite of the negative impact of the coronavirus pandemic. During the year under review, 66 kilometers of primary roads have been completed, and construction is ongoing on an additional 365 kilometers. The completed roads include 50-kilometer road from Harper to Karoken, and 16 kilometers from Harper Junction to Kavala River. Meanwhile, construction works are ongoing on the following roads: 67-kilometer road from Ganta to Yekepa, 47-kilometer road from Sanipole to Lokato, and the Lofa corridor, 80-kilometer road from Banga to Salaye. in the southeastern corridor, 8-kilometer road from Canocan to Fishtown. Similarly, funding has been received and preparatory work is going on the 45-kilometer highway from Rabat International Airport to the ELAA junction. And the 6-kilometer road from ELAA junction to the Coca-Cola factory. A contract has been signed, awarded for a 10-kilometer road from Ganta to Sacré-Pied in Nimba County. Additionally, complete study with committed funds are now available for another 131-kilometer roads. The procurement process are ongoing. These corridors include 50-kilometer road from Bakleve to Sastan. These corridors include 50-kilometer road from Bakleve to Sastan, in which part of the Coastal Highway project. Already the Airport Bank for Investment and Development has approved an initial $50 million for this project. Financing arrangements have also been concluded for the construction of a 20-kilometer road from Fishtown to Calico and a 61-kilometer road from Sacré-Pied to Tapeta. The World Bank has earmarked $55 million for the pavement of the Tapeta-Zwedru Highway. Fellow Liberians, in spite of the financial constraint, government has determined to focus attention on various community development projects that will enhance the living standards of our people. Looking ahead in this coming year and beyond, the focus of my government has always been my people and how I can improve their lives. The only way this can be achieved is by moving closer to the communities and working with them directly to empower them economically. Provide basic social services and improve their lives in all aspects. This is clearly the focus of the Pro-Po agenda for prosperity and development. Accordingly, during the year-end review, the following community projects were completed and dedicated. The government's intervention into the fire disaster which took place in 2019 in the Popo Beach community on Roosevelt Island initially prompted the construction of 50 housing units for fire victims. The second phase, comprising 39 buildings, was recently completed. The 40 Gorbachev Market, which is situated within Omega community, Pittsburgh City, Mossoraro County, was successfully completed and dedicated in September last year. The Lambo Lepe High School, situated in Kakata, Manbibi County, and the Kennedy School, situated in Pittsburgh, moreover, were renovated and dedicated last year. A total of 39 housing units were completed under phase 1 of the Blind Dealer Housing Project, and the barracks at the EBK military base were renovated to improve the living conditions of our men and women in arms. The work on both carrier and terrier breaches in Pokpa district, Bankema County, has finally been completed. Both breaches are expected to benefit 20,000 poor people residing in this remote community. A special mention must be made of the newly constructed 14 military hospital, which became operational during the year under review. It was very fortunate that government had already taken the initiative to build this facility, that it was readily available and became the main center for the isolation and treatment of patients who test capacity for the coronavirus. The 14 Military Hospital continues to fulfill this role to date and is a key contributor to the relative success of our effort to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. Fellow Liberians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is a need for a renewed focus on agriculture, as government is determined to ensure that Liberia has a vibrant agricultural sector to ensure food security and sustainable development. This is an important component of our national development agenda, the Propo Agenda for Prosperity and Development, the PAPD. Everyone must go back to the soil in order to utilize agriculture as a vital tool for the revitalizations of the economy. We have the land, we have the labor, and we have the climate. So let us go back to the soil to grow what we eat and eat what we grow, so that we can reduce our dependence on food imports, create jobs, and increase food security. In this regard, the Ministry of Agriculture will be the focal point to lead and coordinate this drive that should transform the agricultural landscape in Liberia. This is a task that is already on the way, and which will continue to receive the fullest support of this government. The activities in the agricultural sector will continue to receive my personal attention and the fullest support of government going forward, so that Liberians will benefit from its full potential as an engine of development, economic growth, and poverty reduction. Mr. Speaker, we intend to continue to lend our support as a government to the expansion of educational opportunities to our citizens. We are encouraged by the impact of our free tuition policy for state-owned universities and colleges. For example, since the implementations of this policy, we have seen enrollment at the University of Liberia more than double, from 8,000 students to 18,000 students. We realize that the payment of WASI fees have become a huge burden for parents and students alike. This was causing a negative impact on the learning environment. We therefore put into place a policy whereby the government will assume the responsibility of paying the WASI fee for all students. As a result of this intervention, we have seen a significant improvement in learning outcomes. During the period under review, the number of students who passed one subject increased from 71% in 2019 to 82%. Additionally, the numbers of students who pass the threshold of at least 5 subjects increased from 7.9% in the previous year to 15.6%. Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this time to give special recognition and commendation to my dear wife. The First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, Ambassador Marie Weah. Apart from standing by me as a loyal and caring partner, the First Lady continues to touch the lives of many young women, young men, and the elderly alike through the implementation of several humanitarian projects on our own initiative. Under the Cloud Hope Foundation, many projects are being directly impacted many Liberians. They include the construction of a home for the elderly and disabled in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County, the rehabilitation of orphanages in several counties, a program to feed the elderly, provision for medical supplies, foreign scholarships for vocational training for young people, among many others. I thank you for your hard work and support, Madam First Lady Marie Weah. Mr. Speaker, in the same vein, it has always been my personal passion to help the less fortunate and the needy in society. This is why becoming President of Liberia has not stopped me from performing my goodwill, a humanitarian seeking to transform lives of my young compatriots. For example, under my scholarship programs, which I started early in the 90s, continue to provide support to thousands of students in dozens of high schools, undergraduate university, and graduate and professional schools. We also continue to grant support to young entrepreneurs to give them a head start in business. I, George Weah, who grew up in the slum of Gibraltar, will never forget my roots and will always continue to seek the welfare of the people. Honorable members of the 54th Legislature, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we continue to remain focused in a relentless drive to make improvements in the energy sector, particularly power and light. In this regard, my government has been proactive in the early realization of the transport CLSG transmission lines from the Ivory Coast, which will make available an additional 225 kilowatts of electricity to amend the supplies from the Mancoffey hydroelectric plant. This will make electricity more available and affordable to our citizens and residents. The other benefit of an increase in electrical supply is that it will provide a boost to industrialization and increase the prospects of attracting more foreign direct investment. With the availability of a ready supply of electricity, government has now embarked upon a major project to install street lights in Monrovia. This project is not limited to only the main streets, but in due course will also be extended to cover all communities in the greater end of the country. Mr. Speaker, direct foreign investment in value-added project is a cornerstone of economic growth for Liberia, and an important part of initiatives honor the government's pro-poor agenda by creating jobs and stimulating other economic benefits. Significant progress has been made in negotiation with ArcelorMittal Liberia. The goal is to amend the Mineral Development Agreement so that it gives more benefits to the Liberian people and also ensure an additional investment of $800 million United States dollars to execute the second phase of their expansion by constructing a value-added concentrator plant. Once the negotiations are concluded, the executive branch will be submitting a new bill to the legislature proposing an amendment to the AML Mineral Development Agreement to kick-start this investment in 2021. This new AML Phase 2 project, when commissioned and made operational, will produce a superior quality content and triple the quantity of iron ore export. This will represent a very large increase in government revenues for mining and additional construction jobs starting this year. Mr. Speaker, you recall that in October 2019, the government of Liberia and the government of the Republic of Guinea signed an implementation agreement where the two neighboring countries expressed their common desire to cooperate in order to allow the evacuation of Guinea mining products through Liberia using either existing or new infrastructure in the Yekepa-Bikana corridor. I am pleased to inform you that the government of Liberia has now completed a feasibility study for this project, which has presented a number of viable and bankable options for development of infrastructure in the corridor. These proposals are currently being reviewed by the Inter-Ministerial Committee established on the implementation agreement, and recommendation will be made that when approved by government will result in the early realization of this important binational projects. When completed, it will contribute not only to the sub-regional integration of the economies of Guinea and Liberia, but will also strengthen the contributions of the mining sector and related infrastructure to the socio-economic development of both countries. Mr. Speaker, in 2017, Liberia passed the Special Economic Zone Act. Bikana has been proposed by the government of Liberia for the establishment of the Special Economic Zone. In April last year, a feasibility study was funded by the USA and was presented to various stakeholders. We want to thank the user again. We look forward to an early development of the Buchanan Special Economic Zone. Liberia understands that investors require a greater level of confidence in Liberia's ability to deliver on their investment. We understand that this will require greater transparency and improving our ease of doing business. Today, we commit to making these changes and look to engage with investors, the international community, and other stakeholders to make the necessary improvements. Mr. Speaker, we continue to take targeted steps which are aimed at consolidating the fundamentals of democracy in Liberia. The guarantee of political rights, the other basic freedoms, are cardinal principles of democratic governance that my government will continue to uphold at all times. Over the last 3 years, we have created a conducive environment for all to fully participate, irrespective of their political, social, or religious beliefs. The discourse have been devised and loud. The media, political parties, religious groups have all made their voices heard, holding public offices accountable. The just ended national and nationwide senatorial midterm elections serve to further validate our credential as a striving democratic country. Despite the challenges, the National Election Commission went on to hold one of the most transparent, free and fair and democratic elections conducted. Voters selected their candidates of their choice in order to make the changes to the way they are governed, as enshrined in the Liberian Constitution. During the ensuing months and year, we will take deliberate actions to encourage the kind of participation and view that brings every facet of the Liberian society into the fold of a more inclusive governance. Madam Vice President, the President of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Pro Tempore, and members of the 54th Legislature, during this period under review, Liberia continued to foster mutually beneficial ties with our traditional partner, as well as explore new relations with friendly countries based on cooperations and partnership in pursuit of the national interests. Despite the negative effects of the coronavirus disease on the international and global citizens are faced with, the existing threats, normal diplomatic intercourses were drastically curtailed. My administration made noticeable strides on the bilateral and multilateral front, and our relations with our traditional partner remain strong, productive, and mutually rewarding. During the year under review, 17 ambassadors presented their letters of credence, as Liberia currently hosts 23 resident foreign ambassadors in Monrovia. 19 non-resident foreign ambassadors accredited to Liberia, 29 heads of international organizations, and 17 honorary consul general residents in Monrovia. Meanwhile, Liberia continues to maintain 26 diplomatic missions, 2 consulates general spread across Africa, Europe, Asia, the Americas, and the Middle East. Efforts are being exerted to extend our diplomatic representation in the Oceania region, where there is a growing Liberian population, as well as investment and trade opportunities. Mr. Speaker, death is a certainty we do not easily accept. Yet, it comes when we least expect. During the year under review, we interacted with friends, relatives, and loved ones who we cannot see anymore, but still remember. Some of our illustrious and beloved compatriots who suddenly depart this world for the next, and for whom we pray to the God of mercy and love to grant unto their souls a peaceful repose. Well, the H.E. married and for son, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Ambassadors of the Republic of Liberia to Dakar, Honorable Weah T. Russell, former Minister of Transport, former Director General of the General Service Agency, Republic of Liberia, Honorable Jones Weah Blamo, Deputy Director for Operations and VIP Protection Service, National Security Agency, Republic of Liberia. Honorable Emmanuel B. Nyeswa, Director General, Internal Audit Agency. Honorable Reverend Joseph Kaba Gilly, Lever Moton, former Assistant Minister of Public Works. Honorable Dr. Joseph D. Z. Cotto, former Minister of Education of the Republic of Liberia. Honorable Mabutu Vlanipa, Senior, Minister of Public Works, former Senior Senator of Sano County, the 52nd and the 53rd legislation. Honorable Noah A.P. Scott, Assistant Minister of Administration and Insurance, Minister of Transport. Honorable Max M. Dennis, former Minister of Youth and Sports, Republic of Liberia. Former Assistant Minister, Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Executive Marshal, Republic of Liberia. Honorable Reverend John W. H. McLean, second. Former Minister and Deputy Minister, respectively, as well, Minister of Planning and Economic Affairs, Republic of Liberia. Mr. Speaker, it has been approximately 3 years since the United Nations Mission Force, the UNMIN, departed from Liberia after serving as the backbone of our national security. Since that departure, we as a government and people have not only maintained the peace, but secure it unbroken. However, peace and security also comes with good governance and adherence to the rule of law. During the period under review, the government has gone to extreme length to ensure that the fundamental rights of all citizens were guaranteed under the law. The government will continue to hold on to its responsibility and perform its duty under the Constitution. We therefore want to call on all Liberians, irrespective of your political, ethnic, religious, or social differences, to work in the interest of peace. In this regard, we applaud the effort of our steadfast partner for the last 75 years, the United Nations and its related agencies, to help build peace, lasting stability, promoting human rights, and promoting development. Over the past year, the United Nations has consistently provided political support and in sustaining peace in our country, as well as coordinate policy programs and operation for peace, consolidation, and delivering on the 2030 agenda for peace, sustainable development goals. Madam Vice President, and President of the Senate, Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Pro Tempore, and members of the 54th Legislature, I have duly reported to you on the state of the Liberian nation. And from my report, we can see rightfully conclude that the state of our nation is stable and peaceful. Together, we are showing remarkable resilience in the face of the unprecedented and unforeseen challenges presented to us by the global pandemic. In spite of these challenges, our development drive has not been derailed. We understand some of the personal and collective challenges we face in our lives. We feel the pain you feel on a day-to-day basis as you seek to put bread on your table. I too have felt the pain of hunger and poverty. I have mandated the entire machinery of my administration to recalibrate and enhance the focus on finding lasting solutions to the bread and the better issue facing our people. Therefore, there will be no room for error. I say, therefore, there will be no room for error. There will be no room for laxity. All ministers and officials, please take note. Our administration commitment remains unwavering when it comes to the transformational development of Liberia within the framework of an accountable and functional democracy. This is not only my ambition, this is my determination. In order to do so, however, it will require that you rally to the cause and make your own personal commitment to national development. This is our country. Just as it belongs to all of us, it requires the collective effort of all of us to improve it. No one person can do it for us, and we must not expect anyone from outside to do it for us. As I have often said, I have a vision and I will fulfill my mission. That vision is fully set out and captured in the proper agenda for prosperity and development. And my mission is to fulfill that vision through the development of this country and the betterment of the lives of the Liberian people. So help me God. I thank you.